Hey Reddit. What is the weirdest thing you've heard or had happen to you while using a public restroom? NSFW. Like and subscribe to support the channel. And share your grossest restroom story in the comments below. I walked into a public bathroom at a beach and found a big bearded guy nervously staring at the ceiling above the stall while using the only urinal. As I stepped past him toward the stall, he screamed, "Stop," since his hands were full of dick. He could only gesture upward with his head. I looked up and saw a very large pigeon sitting in a nest in the corner. With a super thick Slavic dialect. Bearded guy says, "Never trust a mother bird." He washed his hands, still staring at the nest, and backed out of the bathroom. In his defense, he did you a solid. Birds might frick you up if you get too close to their nests. The university I went to had Canada geese lay their nests near the front doors of busy buildings. They had to cordon off the nests with caution tape and "aggressive goose" signs because they're ruthless. His hands were full of dick. He obviously looked. When I was a kid, my parents worked in a university as professors and I would go to their offices after school until they finished work and we would go home. Importantly, the men's and women's bathrooms were right next to each other. And they had the type of ceilings which are tiles resting on a grid-type metal grid. One day, I was about 10 years old. I went to the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet in the stall and for some reason looked up. Directly over my head, there was a guy looking down at me. He had climbed up from the men's side, removed the ceiling tiles, and was peeping at the female college students as they went to the bathroom. Apparently I was the first person that looked up. Dude, this happened at my high school. But the guy got stuck up there and had to get rescued. Then expelled. This happened at my middle school. The kid fell through into the girls' room and broke his arm. LMAO. Looks up even though I'm in the privacy of my own home with a solid ceiling. Frick you. You just made me look up. When I was younger, high school age, I had been constipated for a few days. I got the urge while I was in the mall and went to the bathroom. It was empty when I got there and was having a rough time pushing this meteorite out. Then I hear some people walk in. A man and a woman talking. Then they started making out. Now I was a pretty shy kid. So I tried hard not to make noise and be noticed. Next thing I know, I can see through the crack in the stall that the girl is taking off her pants. I guess it escalated to the point where I was getting nervous, which caused the giant shiz I was trying to take to rocket out. They of course noticed. And she says, "Oh shiz, someone's in here," then they rushed out. Niece constipated co-blocking my dude, haha. Au contraire. Their love was a beautiful laxative that cleansed the bowels of a man in pain. The plop, the blop, the cock. Oh shiz, someone's in here. What did the shiz say back? This girl was moaning in the stall next to me and I assumed she was masturbating, so I walked by without looking. She called out, "Help." It turns out she was moaning in pain and she was having a medical emergency. I called an ambulance. Do you know more about what had happened? I'm still not entirely sure, as there was a language barrier. She was an international student. At first I thought she was diabetic and had low blood pressure. But then it turned into possible period cramps. And the EMTs thought it might have been appendicitis. I was pooping and let out a really violent fart and someone outside said, "Bet that burned," and he sounded like Larry the Cable Guy. Better get some Prilosec for that bucko. Consume Prilosec. Alright, this one hit me in the giggle dick. There was hot water in the toilet. Not that I directly touched the toilet water. But the whole thing was radiating heat. Maybe seeing you naked made it blush. What did you just bring upon this cursed land? Okay, so this reminds me of a story my uncle told me about one of his first experiences as an architect in Australia after moving there from Canada. He was called into a meeting with a bunch of other people. And in the meeting they got discussing the toilets in the commercial building they were designing, and someone asked if they wanted to run hot water to the toilets. Why would you want to run hot water to the toilets? My uncle asked. A bunch of people look slightly confused at my uncle's question, and his new coworker answers, so that people's hands don't get cold when they're washing them, like this should be obvious. People are washing their hands in the toilet? My uncle asks. Yes. He was not aware that Australians refer to the whole room as the toilet. So they were wanting to run hot water to the bathroom so that people would have warm water to wash their hands. He got a lot of weird looks that day. And I'm sure everyone probably avoided shaking his hands. Interesting. We also, here in the UK, use the word toilet to mean bathroom. i.e., I'm going to the toilet would be a perfectly normal phrase. I went into a Target to take a pee. After relieving myself, it was a photo finish. I turned to wash my hands. In the sink, there was a goldfish in a plastic bag. Now, Target doesn't sell fish, so it was kinda odd to say the least. I could tell there was a person in one of the stalls. Concerned that this goldfish had been abandoned, I nervously asked the dude in the stall if this was his fish in the sink. A deep-ass voice boomed back at me, __what, __. I repeated my question. Is this your fish in the sink? There was a long pause. As if the Target pooper was trying to understand my question. He finally replied, "Nah, man, that ain't my fish." So I took it home. Had to buy a whole setup. Tank and filter, etc. And that's the story of how I rescued a goldfish from the Target bathroom. Same thing happened to me about a year ago, except I found my fish at a bus stop all by himself on my way home from work. Got the whole setup too and is still kicking it here to this day. Now I want a subreddit for fish acquired in this way. So wholesome. You are a good man. This is both a hilarious and wholesome story. Did the fish enjoy his new home? Someone was taking a shiz and eating and talking on the phone. I was disgusted and impressed with the multitasking. I feel like you saw me driving home from work. Drive 7 hours. Stay a week. Drive 7 hours home. It's a real bitch when you have a chatty wife. Super hungry and a touchy stomach. Wait, you shiz in your car? Someone thanking Jesus out loud after every splash. Sploosh, and that one was for you, Jesus. Sploosh, for dying on the cross. No context. Actually, even with context it's still weird. Dude prob had been constipated for days. I can identify with that gratitude. My sister always believed in the importance of teaching her son, even from a young age, to use the correct terminology for genitalia. There was no "that's your pee-pee" or "those are your privates." It was always "that is your penis." So the day before Christmas Eve we are doing some last-minute shopping. My nephew was mostly potty trained at this time, but still wore a diaper just in case. She goes off to do some shopping and I take him to the washroom for a change as he has had an accident. As I'm wiping him clean, he screams bloody murder in a washroom full of people, "Auntie, don't touch my penis." I was fucking mortified, worrying that people are thinking I'm molesting him. So I say loudly yet kindly, "We have to make sure you're clean." I've never been so embarrassed in my life walking out of that stall. And to top it off, I was like 19 but definitely looked younger. TLDR. My nephew screamed at me not to touch his penis in a very busy mall bathroom the day before Christmas Eve. My 3-year-old nephew had an accident last week when I was over. His dad was cleaning him up and he blurted out, "Don't look at my pee-pee, aunt name." I wasn't looking anyway, but I'm glad it was just my brother around. Not 2 minutes later he pulled down his pants and said, "Look at my bum." Such an odd child. I think it's safe to say that all children are at least a bit odd. I cringed so hard at this. I feel so bad for you. This reminds me of the time back when I was addict. I was sitting in a toilet stall at a Zaxby's, trying to shoot a Delorded, when some dude in the stall next to me got a phone call from his wife, I guess. It sounded pretty heated, but at one point he said, "Tell Roger not to ever poke grandma without a condom." Maybe I misheard. Maybe he knew a dopehead was in the next stall and he was trying to knock me off kilter for shits and giggles. The answer to these things, and I suspect they're lost to the mysteries of the universe. Never did go back to a Zaxby's though. Sitting on the toilet in a Denny's bathroom. The large plastic toilet paper holder was just missing the cover. So when I pulled on the toilet paper roll, it fell off and rolled perfectly under the stall wall and fell over right behind the feet of a man standing at the urinal next door. The man must have seen it because I instantly hear him say, "Ope. I got it. Thanks," I said, expecting him to finish his business then help me out. What I did not expect was for him to bend down to pick it up right then and there. But not how one normally bends down. I can guarantee he was midstream when he leaned over backwards like fucking Neo in The Matrix. I see his legs bend forward, then see his hand reaching down behind him. He bends over far enough to grab the roll. Stream still going. It was a urinal with water in the base so I could hear it. He grabs it and perfectly rolls it back over to me. Gives a thumbs up. Then stands straight up again. Unfucking real. Some say he's the toilet roll fairy. Only appears once in a blue moon in the most dire of situations. The visuals I had when reading this story was hilarious. What a fucking legend, honestly. I was out drinking one evening. Went to go to the bathroom and there were 3 ladies blocking the guy's bathroom. They told me I couldn't go in. It was the only bathroom in the place and I had to piss bad. I waited about 20 seconds then pushed past them. As I walk in, there is one dude at the end of the line of urinals with his dick out, not facing a urinal. He's giving it a pep talk saying things like, "Come on bud, you can do it," and "Don't let me down again." I take quite a long piss and he keeps talking to his dong the entire time. I exited the restroom and told my buddy what happened. He had to see it for himself so he went to the restroom. Same girls outside trying to stop him and same dude in there still trying to sweet talk his wang into doing something. I can't imagine how that situation came about. Dude about to have a foursome with some weirdly supportive girls and the guy couldn't get it up. Maybe he pissed in the car the last time they drove him home from the bar, so now he's not allowed in the car until he's peed. The girls are guarding because they know his peashy wiscidic issue. And want to leave. All I can guess is that the guy was special needs and the ladies knew public bathrooms could be an issue for him and were trying to look out for him. But that's still so odd. Was pissing at a urinal and the guy next to me said, "Don't judge me. I'm a grower, not a shower." I mostly ignored him. Then he asked me if I wanted to buy some weed from him. But before I could answer which would have been no, he said, "Well, it isn't real weed. It's fake weed. Doesn't actually get you high. It's what I smoke when I'm practicing guitar. Keep it weird, Austin." He was definitely getting high off his own supply. Or not high, I guess. Anti-high. Not necessarily a public restroom. I worked at a financial company with over 2,000 people in one office. There are around 10 different bathrooms in the building. All with multiple stalls, urinals. Anyway. I was on my break and ran to the bathroom to relieve myself. I saw someone in one of the stalls because feet and doors were closed. As I walk up to the urinal, I hear the guy sneeze. I say, "Bless you," like people do for some reason. Guy in the stall hits me back with, "That wasn't a sneeze. I just left and went to a different bathroom." What the frick was it then? Dick sneeze. Bum chortle.